Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ryan, and I'm joined by
Dave.
Ted.
And on this edition of How to Spend Your Loot, Temple Boons and Tithing.
Once you jump down to the description below, sign up for Nerdarchy, the new newsletter. It's a great way to get gaming tips delivered straight to your inbox, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So, as we discussed in previous episodes of this,
Or the one previous?
or the one previous, it depends on when
somebody's watching
when
this.
we film it, when it gets released, when they watch it.
Some of you out there have complained that 5th edition doesn't really give you a lot of ways to spend your money. So once you start adventuring and you bought the stuff in the player's handbook to your heart's content, it's like, all right, now what?
How many suits of full plate do I
I
need?
accrue all this coin, and I got not a darn thing to spend it on.
So other editions have talked about, oh, you can do this and you can do that, but without a magic item economy or, buying masterwork stuff. It's like, all right, I've got money, what do I do with it?
Yeah, so the thing...
Give it to the church!
Yeah, exactly. Give it all to the church. Well, so you could make some game mechanic effects that... maybe you tithe a certain amount to the church, and depending... So the one thing I thought of is, maybe you give X amount to the church, and the next time your character drops and would have had to have made a death saving throw, it's as if they rolled a natural 20, so they come back up with 1 hit point, right? Now, if the god you tithe to was of a chaotic bent or of an evil bent, it might be the next time after that you drop that you automatically fail your first death saving throw if they're an evil, death god. So you probably want to hedge your bets and go with, the good gods of life or whatever. But, I thought that was one sort of interesting take you could do. I don't know what that would be. Would that be 200 gold, 500 gold? That's a question of working out the economics of it. But,
yeah, well, I think that'd be more specific to the campaign and the game style of the DM.
Yeah.
Or you could do, faith tokens.
Yeah.
Either treat them as inspiration or a different type of inspiration. Whether it's you can trade this in for advantage when you want it, or if you wanted to do something different and create a new mechanic, hey, here's a one-time +5 to whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. Well, you could do a thing with a faith token, or basically it would be a seal that has a lesser restoration spell in it, because how many times conditions happen and you need to get that undone, and maybe you don't have the casting power in the party,
or the spell slots are expended,
or you want to save the spell slots to do other things with. Well, you could buy little disposable items that can do things for the party in that regard. So it almost
could kind of function like a scroll or a potion.
Exactly. Yeah. So that might be a little thing you could do. Another thing.
Well, when I say faith token, I actually mean out of game.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's something, or maybe the god. Well, depending on how commercially flavored the deity is, a god of commerce, maybe you literally do pay for one prayer answered for a lesser restoration spell.
You're dropping the coins in the pot, and the priest is like,
Keep going. Yeah, so you could do that. It's almost like Baldur's Gate, where you could pay for the services based on your donations or whatever. I think what it did was raise your reputation, but I thought they could also do some spell casting, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that. There's maybe you can tithe for bonuses on rolling on the carousing table. If it's a god of debauchery and
The great part about D&D is there really is a faith or a church
for
everything. If you look at the list of domains that were available in 3.5, it basically covered it all.
Yeah. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe it depends on the god. Determines what kind of bonus you get. Oh, wait a minute, I'm going into battle, so I want a bonus. Mechanically speaking, you want the bonus to combat. So you go to the war god, you make a donation.
Battle, war, strength.
You get your faith token, and it can mean something different for each god. So the god of battle might be advantage on attack roll, might be a +5 to damage,
and also too it could be tiered as well, because there's a big difference between 100 gold and 1,000 gold. So you could break down the tiers of this is the level of faith token. You get a third level of faith token versus a first tier versus a third tier. And kind of.
I wish I had the suicidal tendencies song to play right now.
What's that?
It's what talking about faith and tithing and buying your religion.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. So you could, for every church, you could figure out what the things are that are relevant, but look at the various tables that are in the DMG, and maybe like the like lifestyle table, or just like maybe just like other little minor bonuses that you can get and call down upon.
Yeah, like maybe if you contribute heavily to a god of wealth or commerce or nobility, like
there's the income rolls from doing a job, if that's one of the things your character
could give you a bonus there. Or I was thinking for the daily expenses, like for whatever reason, like you're living in at this level, but everything gets bumped up because like things just go your way.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, we're sorry, we gave your room away, but here you have to take the upgrade.
Yeah. No, that's true too, and you could do a thing with tying actual in-game benefits and hindrances to the different lifestyles on the table, because I don't think it really does much of a game effect. It's just saying, your character lived that way for this span of time.
No, it doesn't. Well, here's the thing. Like, I would, first of all, like, we're talking heavily about mechanics, right? But I would want to bring it back around to in-game when you're actually doing the tithing and get some role-playing going on. And, like, if you're using, like, some kind of faith token system, I'd want to describe what happens when they turn that token in. Yeah. Like how the divine inspiration hits them. Because essentially that's what we're talking about, right? It's either divine inspiration or divine influence is going to happen in that character's life, possibly.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And the other thing too is like, does it only work if you're one of the faithful? Like maybe you can't just go to any deity. You actually have to be a parishioner of that deity to donate and receive the benefit.
So what if I'm sitting here mulling over like, all right, how do I make these charts? So if we've got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, well, all right, now we're going to take it the other way if you're just donating or if you're of the faithful.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing too, like most cultures were polytheistic and they were utilitarian about the god they're praying to at any given time. Like if you're not like a cleric or a paladin specifically devoted to one deity or a pantheon, you can pick a pantheon. Most people were very situational about who they prayed to. If they had a pregnancy or were trying to get pregnant, it would be fertility.
Right.
If it were like the crops, and they'd be praying to the god of like livestock and the harvest. So like, and if somebody was ill, the god of death or healing. So
interestingly enough, though, in Forgotten Realms, after the time of troubles, the way the gods gained power shifted and changed because there's like the uber god. Ao above all the other gods, and because the gods were so petty and vindictive against each other, he shifted things so that each god's personal power would be dependent upon the number of followers. So that's an instance of specifically the gods had to attract followers to themselves or they would diminish and possibly even wither away.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just another approach.
Yeah. Well, no. So like it's going to be sort of derivative of whatever kind of campaign somebody's running. Like, what's the feel of the gods and like what is their relationship with their followers? But for me, like I generally think that the common people probably just worship a whole host of gods.
Yeah, and historically that would be accurate. But we're talking about fantasy worlds that are made up, so it could be just like that, or it could be something else.
Yeah. So really, we have to decide for Chimes of Discordia what that relationship is too. Like,
what is your personal relationship with your deity or
with your
deities?
Yeah, exactly.
The pantheon. So what do you guys think? Like, is this a way you would want to see your players spending money in your game as a player? Would you be interested in this? Let us know in the comments below as well. Like, share, and subscribe.
You can hang out with us over on Facebook.
You can also check us out over on Instagram.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.